Yeah, pass it on.
Yeah, Brian Baker from Freshwater Surf Club. I rode bow with this crew, and we're doing some training, some ins and outs this morning.
Yeah, I'm Crash, or Ian Craddock, and part of Freshwater Surf Club, and this is a training morning for us, just to hone our skills and have a bit of fun.
I'm Blake Craddock from Freshwater Surf Club, just filling in with the boys this morning, helping out.
I'm Greg Wincham from Freshwater and North Stone Surf Club. I've been rowing with Brian for years and years and years.
I'm Ewan, I'm from North Stone, filling in for the boys, originally from Bronte. Good ins and outs this morning, had a bit of fun. First time rowing rounds for 20 years.
Okay, I guess today's message, gents, is that we really want to be able to send a clear message about water safety and all that. But before we go into that, let's maybe explain to us a bit more about the activities this morning and what was actually the aim of this particular exercise. Because it looks like a lot of work, man.
Yeah, so this object is called a surf boat, and back in the day, they were a rescue craft. These days, the IRB has taken the place of them, but they're still a useful piece of equipment for competition. It keeps people involved, healthy and fit. And by being healthy and fit, they're able to commence rescues and patrol the beach as well. Also this morning, it's usually early in the morning, we try and come down and hone the skills of rowing and just enjoy our each other's company.
What about we want to be able to send a clear message about water safety. So would you be able to share with us some of like 2 or 3 water safety messages today?
Yeah. Okay, so while we're on water safety, very important to swim between the flags. The lifeguards and the patrol put the flags in the best area on the beach. They have a look and see where the rips are, what the tide's doing, and they're here every day, so they know the conditions well, and that's why you should swim between the flags for your own safety.
Okay. One more.
Always listen to the lifeguards on duty when they go over the loudspeakers. If they tell you to move back in between the flags, it's for a reason. It's safety. As well as that, parents, look after your kids on the beach. As a lifesaver, we've all been on the beach and we've found little kids wandering around looking for their parents. It's quite a harrowing experience for the child. So imagine if your child then goes in for a swim and you don't know where they are. So as a parent myself, look after your kids. Don't be a helicopter parent, but keep an eye on them.
I'm Nathan Perry from Freshwater Surf Club. I'm the rowing coach here at the club. And been here, this is my first season at the club. I've been in a few different clubs where I had been coaching and they'd recruited me to come here and be their coach for the year. So this morning we're here at 6 a.m. and we're here just for training, but at about 9 o'clock the patrol will come down and there's a big trailer up there which has all of our safety gear on it, our flags and rescue boards and that sort of thing. And the lifeguard and the patrol will work together and they'll work out where the safest place on the beach is to set up their patrol.
That'll be at 9 o'clock, is it?
At 9 o'clock. And so what they'll do together is they'll identify if there's any rips or any dangers, and they'll set up a safe swimming area away from if there's any dangers. Most beaches are constant from day to day, so they'll know from the day before where the safe place is. It does change over a month or so, but typically they'll know from the day before where the safest place is to set the beach up.
What about in terms of
So when you come to the beach, it's extremely important that you swim between the red and yellow flags. That is the safe swimming area. It's there for a reason. The lifeguards are focusing on that point to make sure everyone in that area is safe. They're also watching the unsafe area, but if we have people swimming out of the unsafe area and out of the safe area, other people will think, oh, it's safe to be there, so they'll go in the dangerous part. They really need to be swimming in between the red and yellow flags. That is the safe area. Okay, so what a rip actually is water comes up onto the beach and it has to level out. It has to go somewhere. So the water goes like out a channel, like a gutter on a street. The water rushes down it. And so, for instance, here when there's a big nor'east wind, the water comes in on the south end of the beach and it will come out and it will go out there. So the water is travelling out to sea out there. If you get caught in a rip, it's very hard to swim against. and it's relentless. It doesn't stop, it just keeps going. So in order to get out of it, you need to swim across it and out of it, not against it, if you know what I mean. So you have to swim across the rip and into the water. And the rips typically are like a channel. They're not very wide. They might be no wider than 40 metres. Yeah.
Serious? Why not? Safety wise? Okay. All right, let's do that. You can go now, that's good. We'll have a...
You want those boys with Nathan?
Are they okay, and stuff like that, and also maybe just talk about...
Sure. Look, my name is Alan Burns. I'm the president of Freshwater Surf Club, and I've been in Freshwater Surf Club now since 1995. Prior to that, I was a member of the Clovelly Surf Club, and in fact, my father was a previous president and life member of Clovelly Surf Club, so I've spent my entire life actually in surf clubs. So my entire life has been spent on the beach. I'm 68 now. Yeah. And it's a very pleasant way, of course, to spend a weekend.
You actually look...
The majority of surf club members do spend a lot of their time exercising, and we'd like to think that it does help in terms of maintaining longevity of life anyway. So, yes, the aim of the particular exercise you just saw was an event which we call Rescue and Resuscitation, which is shortened to R&R, and it simulates a rescue. So somebody is in the water and they're in trouble, so they put their hand up, and then the people on the beach see that, and then they perform the rescue with the reel. So somebody dons the belt and it's got the line attached to it, and they swim out, secure the patient, and then they're hauled in, and then the various resuscitation is carried out. So you saw two people doing the resuscitation. One was doing the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and the other was doing the external heart massage. It's only a simulation. Under normal circumstances, there would have been movement up and down, of course, on the chest and actually blowing into the mouth. But in this case, it's simulated, so we don't do that. It's an event that we have for competition, and in fact the team that you just saw do that are the current Australian champions and have been for the last 2 years, and in fact over the last 10 years they've won the national titles on 7 different occasions and got 2 or 3 other positions. So look, the hardboard diggers has been, firstly, the hardboard diggers were began by a couple of members of Freshwater Surf Club a long, long while ago. They've been financial supporters of ours for many years now, and in fact, we have one of the rescue craft that we have in our surf club is an IRB, an inflatable rescue boat, one of those rubber duckies they're often called. And every year, The Harbour Diggers Club are a particularly generous organisation, and whilst there are many not-for-profit organisations in this area, they always manage to come up with supplying us with either a new IRB or some motors for the IRB. As you can imagine, in this environment where you've got sand and salt water, it's very difficult to keep the rescue craft going for a number of years, and they do wear out very quickly. Look, the Harbour Diggers Club not only support our club, but many, many not-for-profit organisations. And all of those not-for-profits are filled with volunteers. Everyone's trying to do their best. They're trying to assist the community in any way we can. We, as a surf club, of course, our main aim is to provide as safe an aquatic environment as we can, and as a consequence we need equipment, safety equipment. So reels, well, perhaps they're a little bit outdated now, but certainly IRBs and rescue craft and the other ones, the jet boats or the jet skis, those sorts of things are required these days. And the Harbour Diggers Club, part of the Mounties group, they've been particularly generous to us and other clubs over the years. Look, there are many stories that we could tell, but rather than come on a personal note, just as a club-wide, we have 16 patrol teams. Each patrol patrols for 4 hours a day, and they do that once every 3 weeks. So there are approximately 20 members of each patrol team, so we have around about 330 active patrolling members. Last year we conducted 72 different rescues, and we have what we call preventative action. So that's where you remind people to swim within the flags, don't go out too far or beware of the rips and that sort of thing. So it's a case of constant monitoring just to ensure that people maintain the safety levels that we like. We're particularly fortunate in our club. We've been in operations now since 1908, and we've never ever had a loss of life from anyone swimming between the flags during patrolled hours. So it's an extremely good record to have. And in addition to the normal records, there's the normal cuts and bruises that people get when they're mucking around on the beach, and of course lost children. So last year we had 32 lost parents who were finally reunited with their children. So
That's amazing, Sister. So
Good.
what's your name?
Georgie,
And how old are you?
8.
8 years old.
Well, we do nippies and we do lots of cool things, and we get a swim. We get a swim to in the water and come back.
For about 8 years now, yeah. So I competed with the Masters group, and then when my kids got of age, I put up my hand and volunteered for age group. And this is her first year, so she's really excited. Yeah, yeah, and it's at her age, it's really about awareness, learning some skills in the water. That's important, but getting the kids to a point where they're feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit more sure of the conditions out there. It's really about just fun and bringing teamwork involved into the whole competition part of it.
So we're learning to swim and how to run on the beach to
And boards.
and boards and get on the boards and swim out.
that patient. So the beltman is just swimming out now. He's got the belt on him, and of course he's attached to that line that's attached to the reel. And the linesmen are paying out the line, and they have to be careful about the speed with which they pay out the line. We don't need too much line, because the wave action will cause the line to what they call belly. In other words, too much line will go out, and it's too heavy then for the beltman to swim out with. So the beltman has swum out to the patient, and of course that patient, under normal circumstances, has put his or her hand up to indicate that they need rescuing. So the beltman has just now signalled that he's at the patient, hauling in. Again, there has to be a special way of hauling in. You can't do it too fast, because what will happen, of course, is that you'll drown the patient and beltman because they're at the end of the line. So whilst it's only a simulated rescue, they have to be careful that they're hauling in the correct manner. And of course the reelman is there reeling in, and he's actually the one doing most of the work. It's a bit hard given the position. So here's the signal given. The linesman then will run down. Now, under normal circumstances, of course, you'll notice that the person in front here with the beltman, he's got his... Now, under normal circumstances, a patient will have perhaps seaweed or all sorts of junk and muck in his mouth or her mouth, and there'll be plenty of salt water there too, so it might be. So now they've just said airway clear, and now what the other person is doing now is putting their ear over the mouth, and they're saying whether there's any breathing there or not, and 2 breaths, and they will do 5 of those in the space of 2 minutes. For the purpose of this exercise though, we won't go for the whole 2 minutes. Operators, halt. So now what she's doing is listening for breathing. Right, by the centre, quick, march. And the idea of this is to keep the reel level, and there's to be, everyone's in time of course, with their arm swings and knee heights. Into column right wheel. And that's the end of the competition. That's the end of the competition.
Perfect. to do problem solving today, or?
Pass it over. Go on, that's it, Archie.
Water yet?
Alright?
Jumped in the water yet?
No. It's wet.
Is it? Oh, it's wet. That's not good. Yeah.